Welcome and welcome back. Shout out to the amazing crowd in Brazil. It was such an incredible night of fights. We had so many crazy chokes. I mean, it was very choky. It was a very, very choky night. We had drama between Michael and John. I mean, who thought it was a good idea to just have those two guys at the bench? We needed a mediator, specifically for Michael, who was being a little so many awesome fights. Brazil just never disappoints, and we got to end it in a very magical way. Charles Oliveira finishing the night out with a little chokey choke, right? The last choke of the night. We had a lot of chokes. Let's go over all of the fights, give UFC Rio de Janeiro a dynamic review. This was a really good one. We knew this was going to be an awesome card, one for the fans and one for Brazil, who they deserve it. They deserve a stacked fun card, and what a fun night. What a crowd, right? What a crowd. First fight, we already have drama. We have Simon Oliveira versus Luan Lacerda, and Oliveira weighing in very heavy, misses weight by 8 pounds. So we start in drama, right? Drama. Coming in with some weird stuff right away, and coming in on a 3 fight losing streak, so just a lot of weird energy going into this one. Round one, we have Lacerda getting some decent time on Oliveira's back, a little body triangle there at the end. It's looking very good, looking very much so like a Lacerda round one. Round two, Oliveira coming out racing. He's coming out like this, oh boy, watch out there. And, he's very quickly, though, on the ground again, getting controlled. Lacerda right back on his back again. Little awkward reversal, little switcheroo. And then Simon's on top, which is good work, right? Like, nice job bucking him off and getting on top. But then he gets a little carried away, perhaps, because, somewhere in between the elbows that were coming down, and they were scary. It was looking like tides had turned. He got caught in an armbar. Oh, armbar alert. Armbar alert. And we had a submission right away for our first fight. And by right away, I mean round two. But midway through that second round, armbar for Lacerda. Simon just kind of got a little caught. It got carried away. So that was an exciting start. And then we moved on to what we knew was going to be blood and war, in a fight that I didn't think was going to end in a finish. Well, Julia Pilastri versus Caroline Kowalkiewicz. This was a strawweight baddie fight. This is just so much fun. Round one, okay, we get to seeing the differential and the power right away. When Julia lands, you can see it's affecting Carolina, and the punches are kind of just rolling off Julia. Like, it's not equal, but Carolina's tough, so you can hit her with a bus and she might just pop right back up, right? In that first round, Julia lands really big with a body kick, and that kind of puts Carolina in a bad situation. She gets a little bit overcome there, and then a flurry of punches, right? But Julia stays patient with it. She backs up a little bit after throwing some of those punches, doesn't get too overzealous about it, doesn't turn on the gas too much and get reckless. We get a little clinch. Both of them love the clinch, so we figured we were going to see that. Carolina goes for a little spinny spin, and it doesn't work in her favor, and Julia starts pouring it on a little bit more. Total W round for Julia. And then round two, Julia's continuing to find her rhythm, but Carolina is as tough as they come. She's not looking like her gas tank has waned. Julia's maybe looking a little bit more tired in that second round, and just slowing down a little bit, but there's still some blitzes here and there. Blitz, and then we slow. Blitz, and then we slow. And her combos, Julia, are so violent, like mixing in the kicks so well, just like we're upstairs and then we're bam, and she's landing, like she's seeing it, and it's some scary stuff, just mixing it up so well. And you could tell that Carolina's looking to get some grappling time in, because the striking is not feeling, just taking a lot of damage there. Julia's looking tired, though, looking a little tired, and the hands are definitely dropping, but we got a war. Speaking of hands, or what's on them, war. We got a war on our hands, yeah. So we enter round three, and it's war. We continue the scrap. We got two professional killers on our hands, and it looks exactly like that. It's amazing, and it's just stand and bang. It's stand and bang. Carolina is, just seemingly at this moment in the third round, is impossible to kill, to deter. What do we do, right? What do we do? And she's taking some major shots, and the power differential. Julia's just So strong. And about 2 minutes into this round, we get a massive head kick, shin on chin, as Michael or John said. Yeah, Goddard's got to step in. The punches are raining and there's not a response. So that's crazy. Julia gets the TKO finish in round three, hometown hero, and that's a really big win considering that Carolina is tough. Like, she's really tough. She's not easy to finish. She's known for her heart and soul. So there we go. And then we had a fun fight between Lucas Rocha and Stuart Nickel. Yes. So round one, Stewie, looking to get things on the ground. He likes it there, but Lucas is not having it. He's not having it. He's like, get off, and it's working. He just kind of get up from the takedown. He lands a massive uppercut. Lucas is looking like he's already kind of figuring out Stewie's timing. So Lucas feeling good, stopping the takedowns. That continues into round two. Stewie's throwing him. He really wants to be on the ground. We got some moments, right, where he's like, come on, please. Like, come on. Like, don't you want to? And Lucas is like, no, get up. And so makes him get up. We get a little bit of, losing of the gas for Stu because he's taking some big damage when he does stand up. And takedown defense is just so strong for Lucas. We get to round three, and Nickel is not giving up. Yeah, Stewie Stu is not giving up on himself. So we love that energy, right? Down 2 rounds, but not giving up on yourself. He's still having fun. And you know what, y'all? He was having fun that entire time. He was having a blast. Like, even though he wasn't getting the better of Lucas, Lucas just was finding the timing and was able to go whoop whoop to all the takedown attempts. So he got the decision, Lucas, but we got a good fight, and Stewie kept it going, okay? He did not give up. So that was a really good one as well. And then we had a really fun debut. So exciting to see Beatrice Mosqueda make her debut against Irina Alcaceva, who is one tough, baddie addy, so tough. Bia is the BJJ queen, the lady goat as she describes herself. She holds records, 10-time champion. What is going on? Amazing, massive threat. And then Irina coming in with the free spirit, shaking her bum a little bit before getting in the octagon. And she's just fun, and she has a lot of heart and soul. Like, she's definitely willing to go to war with it. And round one, of course, we see Bia looking for the takedown right away. Okay, Mosqueda is not about to skirt away from... Okay, and whatever that's trying to become. Okay, she's looking for the takedown. And she finds it. After she lands a big shot, she rushes right in there right away because that's what she's really looking for. But she does a good job circling, not just like standing in, planting there. Like Michael said something about her not, she's probably not going to have good head movement. He assumed, he didn't know. She's got decent head movement, okay? Yeah, so she's on top. And when she is on top, something that I love about her is that she really gets that damage in, and she showed that. So she was immediately raining down some absolute bombs. Like, she was going to work on Irina. I mean, boom. It was boom, bombs after bombs after bombs, and she's jacked, yo. So, yeah, you know what I mean? Scary stuff. Hellish, really. I mean, hellish. Like, that is, like, the number one reason that I would never step into a cage to fight, is because of ground and pound. No, thank you. That's horrid. Oh my gosh, so athletic, so strong. And Irina she's trying to buck her off, and she's surviving, right? She's trying to show that she's still defending, but I mean, barely. The ref probably could have stepped in, and we would have been like, yeah, wasn't having much to offer there, but saved by the bell. And Irina is definitely a warrior. So, shout out to her warrior spirit. Don't let it be mistaken. She's got that. Woo, but that was the roughest round of the night thus far. That one was tough. That was really tough. Okay, but we made it to round two, right? We made it. So round two, Irina is looking okay mentally, though. I mean, physically, the damage is there, but she's looking okay mentally. Wow. So Bia's very quick to get her flying again. Whee! Right, we're in the air and we're going down, and Bia's on top. And there's over 3 minutes in the round to go. Oh, kind of a nightmare scenario for Irina. So we're in Nightmare Town, and it's not looking good. So she jumps on her, and she gets her rear naked choke pretty quickly. She works her way round her body and finds the choke. And that's kind of Bia's thing. She's been pretty good at sinking that one in. And, Irina tried to hold on as long as she could. And she basically passed out as she tapped. It was like tap and pass at the same time. So that was crazy. Um, so that was a round two rear naked choke win for Mesquita. So we've had two submissions so far in three fights. And then we move on to a crazy one. With Vitor Petrino versus Thomas Peterson. We knew that this was going to be something. I actually figured that Thomas was going to go, implement the wrestling since Petrino was pretty power. And, turns out Vitor wanted to implement some of his own grappling and show his MMA prowess. He's carving his heavyweight path. Like, this is his second heavyweight appearance. And as John put it, let's put these two Goliaths side by side. Oh, John. Love John. John was trying to keep it light. He was trying to keep a sense of humor. Okay, there's Monty's tail again. He's trying to keep a sense of humor this entire night, and Michael was just not having it. Like, he was being so nasty to him. Please tell me if you noticed that Michael was so rude to John. So we're locked up in the clinch, and we're kind of stalled out. Like, we're locked up against the clinch, we're against the fence, and we're kind of, things are kind of stalling. And so the boys at the bench get a little distracted, and they start talking about how handsome Vitor is. I agree, he's handsome. But that was funny. I mean, you only start talking like that when you think things are boring or you get a little distracted. So they got a little bit distracted, and I had a feeling that the guys were gonna wrap up at some point because they're both kind of rappy, especially Thomas. And Petrino lands a fat right eventually when they do separate, and Tommy's on the ground, row, and Petrino pounces on him like a kitty cat. But we survived till the end of the next round. But we see that Petrino power at play, scary stuff. I'm scared, right? Oh no, I'm scared. That sounded like I was being sarcastic, but yeah, I am scared. So round two, oh, we're locked up again. Petrino, Petrino puts in some insane effort to try to get a takedown. Like, his face is doing this, he's like trying to get the takedown so hard. But we kind of get fenced up again instead. Little fence up. So we're fenced up, okay? And we're fenced up for a little while, and then the ref is over it. And he says, enough, okay? And we go back, and we're kind of chilling. Like, there's this weird moment where they're both just walking around the cage. Okay, it's fine. It's fine. We gotta recover. Oh, and we're clinched up again. And Tommy gets kind of like a drag style takedown on Petrino, just kind of like pulls him down a little bit. Okay. But we get back up again. Everyone is tired, but we're still making it happen, right? There's still some significant strikes that are being thrown, so it's not too snoozy. We get to round three. Michael is going on and on about, I don't know, whatever, that it's down to whoever wants it more, some cliche like that. Whatever about digging deep. And as he's going on, Petrino gets a nasty knockout. He comes in with the uppercut, and then hits him with the left hook from hell. And it is just system shut down. Like, you can see Tom's feet are kind of swept under him. You know what I mean? He's out, right? He's out and he's midair. So he's passed out in midair. Yeah, so that was crazy. Round three, you never know, right? You never know when. KO, basically. TKO or KO. Looking KO to me. Petrino, yes, and he promises that he's going to be champion. Okay, whatever. I'll believe it when I see it, and I'm believing that was pretty good. All right, then we went down from heavyweights to some flyweights with Jafal Filo and Clay Carpenter. This was a very fun, sticky fight. Kind of figured it was going to be sticky since both these guys have a lot of stickiness in their arsenals, respectively, and in their game plans, how they like to roll. That's how they roll. But it's Jafal who finds himself getting trippy. He trips Clay, and he's on Clay's back, trying really, really hard to trick him into getting choked. You know how it is. Like, ooh, let your hands go. Let me get ya. Like, he's working really hard trying to free those hands up. Clay's pretty crafty, so he gets the reverse card at one point, finds himself on top, but Jafal's all over it. He's all over it, and he's Kimura 101. He's Kimura 101, and Clay is turning. He's turning like an alligator. He's turning like an alligator he's turning like an alligator's prey. Jafal's the alligator, and he's got him. He's trying to twist, but he simply cannot escape, and he gets submitted. Super, super scary. That grip was tight. Kimura, round one for Filo. He got it done. he got it done, and that's finishing 16 of his 17 wins. So talk about a finisher, talk about a get it doneer. That was pretty crazy. We knew we were in for a scrap with that one, but it didn't last long. Let's go, Philo. We knew this was going to be like two cats rolling in the grass in a fight, and it was awesome. That was so awesome. And then we had our featured prelim, Lucas Almeida going against Michael Aswell Jr., who, if you don't recall, made his UFC debut previously on just a couple days' notice, and at one weight class too big for him, and it was very clear he did not look the size. He did not look the part. He didn't look the part. But here he is, excited to make a statement on his more official debut, looking for that first UFC win, and he comes in with Boxing 101. I mean, he's putting it on. He's putting it on, and let's talk about that right hand. Can't miss. Can't miss. Can't miss. Okay. And he gets a shot, and he rocks Lucas. First clean shot that he gets kind of rocks Lucas, and he's wobbling pretty early. You know, he's not looking good. Backs up against the fence. You know, he's looking scared. That's like so dramatic. That's not what, kind of, I mean, it was kind of dramatic. This was kind of a dramatic fight. So it was a little dramatic in the sense that it was just crazy. The violence was crazy. You know, the power was powering. And I think Lucas took a little bit more damage than he needed to. So he was kind of backed up against the fence, kind of getting whipped around a little. You know, he could have stopped it there because he's getting whippy. But then he kind of got down. And then you know, Michael was just kind of sitting on top of him and just kind of, you know, like that whole situation. Probably could have stopped it maybe a couple seconds earlier, but whatever, we got him out of there right away. Round 1 TKO for Aswell. I mean, this has just been so exciting. The prelims were such an incredible ride. I mean, hello. The only fight that went to decision was very exciting. You know, Stewie did not give up on himself, so that was rad. And we made it to our main card. This is crazy. The Charles Hype video got me going. You know, whenever I hear Mike, I'm like, oh, I miss you, Mike. We don't have to talk about it. It was nostalgic though, right? It was awesome. I was also kind of thinking, does Charlie have veneers? His teeth are really white. That's irrelevant. Okay. We got some weird graphics, right? We don't have DC to do some weird drawings, so we got to have a graphic that doesn't I don't know. Maybe I'm just okay. And then we have Rashad Evans at the desk looking so good. I'm like, what? He looks so good. He's so fashionable. Michael keeps touching John, which is making me a little bit uncomfortable because he's also saying things like, John, you couldn't throw me under the bus if you tried. Like, oh, okay, so Michael needs to chill out a little bit at that point. So the main card hasn't started and I'm getting a lot of hostile energy from Michael. Okay, first fight, Ricardo Ramos versus Khan Olfi. This fight was so rad. I mean, Olfi needed this win so bad. And oh man, it's chaos. It's chaos, girlfriend. We come out and it's immediately chaos. Khan is fighting to save his leg because Ricardo has got his leg. He's like a little nasty creature, you know. He's got his leg. What is with the drama today? I'm so dramatic. So he's got... Ricardo has got his leg. Okay, and Khan is fighting to save it. He's like, give me my leg back, please. Then there's the threat of a knee bar. It's so scary. But Khan survives. He prevails, and he jumps on Ricardo, and he is cranking his face, and it's scary. You know, Ricardo makes an owie kind of like face as his face is getting pulled around. I mean, ow, it looks owie. And then we have Khan in backpack position. So Ricardo stands up and Khan's on his back. He's looking with everything inside of him to try to get that choke. And this is all within the first 2 minutes. Like with the first 2 minutes, it's chaos, right? He's looking. He's like, gimme. And he gets it and it's crazy. John calls it dad strength. He's like, he got that dad strength. That was a bad John impression. But that was cute. That was cute of John to say. And we get a rear naked choke, round 1. Just like so many awesome things happening. We're off to a great start for the main card. The boos made Khan a little sad, you know, right? Because he's the Aussie. So we got booed and he got a little sad, which I understand. So we finished that fight. We got a little bit of time. And so we celebrate the career of Jose Aldo, and he lays down the gloves in Rio de Janeiro, which is so cool, you know, shout out, right? Shout out to an incredible, illustrious career. So sad though, right? To say goodbye and to move on. Wow, what a guy, what a fighter. Such incredible moments, like such incredible moments. Had me crying a little bit. Michael's out here talking about being jealous. He's talking about being jealous that he didn't get to lay his gloves down in his home place. I'm like, Michael, at a time like this, really? We are so unserious right now. We are so unserious. That's strike one, two, and two and a half. For oh my gosh, I was I was a little bit by that. Michael, seriously, just so that was so unserious. Anyway, not the time. Shout out to Jose Aldo for such an illustrious career. We love you. We love you. And then we moved on to a heavyweight bout. Nada Diaz versus Mario Pinto. And Mario, he was on top quick. He was on top quick and he was raining those elbows and he was twisting Yonata's arm. I mean, I'm scared. I'm like, oh, that's looking rough. Woo, it's looking rough. But we kind of end with Mario just laying on top of him a little bit. Laying on top of him. He did the effort. We escaped, so we escaped into round two. And it's patty addy cake for a second, right? We're pattying a little bit, but then we're back against the fence. Eventually, Mario just kind of overwhelms Yonata and takes him down, pushes him against the fence, and he's just kind of slumped there. Like he's just completely overwhelming him. Mario was just pouring it on, and Yonata's just kind of sinking more against the fence. And he's raining, he's raining, and he's raining. He's just dominating him from the mount position. Ref has seen enough. We step in, we call it quits. TKO round two for Pinto. Yeah, after tossing him around a lot, getting some good grappling moments in. I mean, he was just pushing him around. He gets his brown belt, and says that he knows nothing about jiu-jitsu. Sure. 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 That was a cool performance from Mario. That was so rad. So shout out to Mario. Then we had Vicente Luque versus Joel Alvarez. This is a little weird. This was a little bit of a weird one. We got a weird start. We got a very weird start. Vicente thinks he gets eye poked, but really it's like a closed thumb. It's just like right on the eye. Okay. And the ref calls a timey, right? He calls a timey. And John is trying to say what Michael is trying to say. Um, and Michael thinks that he's interrupting him. And so Michael says, let me finish. And John's like, and I hope. And he's like, Michael, he didn't say it like this, but he said a polite way of like, Michael, we're saying the same thing. So weird. Michael's mad. They're both frustrated, though, at the calling of the time because the fight should just keep rolling because it was a legal strike. The eye's looking bad, but we get back to it. It's okay. We timed out and we shouldn't have probably, but it's fine. We move on. We get back to it. The eye's looking bad. Joel is stalking, like major. That's kind of what he does. He limits his movement. He does a lot of studying, just kind of waiting, doesn't like to expend too much energy. We make it to round two. Michael, again, being just so rude, being like, I know John. Like, again, John's trying to support. John's doing his job. He's playing the supporting role, and Michael is just so not having it. Okay, not professional today. This like distracted me from the fight. Like he's like trying to pick a fight with John, and John is like, "What is going on?" He's like so confused. Help! Where is Dominic when you need him? Where's Paul when you need him? Where's Laura when you need her? This help! Oh my God! Never leave John alone with just Michael ever again, please. It was so bad. They're distracting me from the round. Anyway, round two, you could see both guys were landing, but Joel just like is finding a way to high hell hello it. Like he's just like getting a little bit more. He finds his way on top again too, so having some good striking and then finding his way on top, and he's just so tough on the ground. He's so complete MMA, this man is like, and he's banging on him. He's banging on Vicente, working him. The ground strikes are near 50 at that point and counting. There was still over like a minute and a half left at that point, so a lot of meaningful damage. And we get to round three, and Joel is in control again. He does a lot of sitting on Vicente's face. That's a weird moment, but we get a little bit of that. And then, it gets slows down a little bit there. You got to refuel, right? You got to refuel, but there's maybe, because there was so much ground and pound happening from Joel in round two that maybe expected to see him kind of carry that, but he just did a little bit more on the control side. But it's a very dominant decision win for Joel Alvarez, so that was cool, snaps and claps for him. And then we made it to our co-main. Davison Figueiredo versus Montel Jackson. This was awesome. This was crazy. what is this? Davison is back to his God of War stripe because he gave it up for a little bit. I don't think he had it in his last fight against Corey. I don't think that he did. Anyway, Montel is just looking locked in. He's got fat hands, right? We know it. He's got fat hands. We know this. Heidi was giving such great delivery. Shout out to Heidi. I mean, always. Like, she's amazing. We love her on the team. Heidi's great. She gives like a little growl, like how you should when you're an announcer, like, and he's back. Like, okay, I can't do it. Heidi does it really well. She like plays the announcer role so well, and she's such a good hype woman, and she was hyping up really good. But this fight, I just knew was going to be something strange in a good way. And I figured Figgy was going to be going for the takedowns because he's good on the ground. And, Montel, he's got wrestling, but he's got big fat fists, really. So Figgy goes for it. He goes on top. He's getting scrappy too with it, and we get scrappy up on the feet for the second half as well. This fight is looking pretty money, like it's looking feisty. Like we had a really feisty first round, and then round two, Figgy was on top again, and kind of same thing. We got a little scrap-a-dappy do in the second half. I mean, not too much like staying connected. I mean, both guys kind of keeping a little bit of a distance. And then round three, even more so on that end, like just a pretty tentative round. Montel not really looking to engage since now he's been taken down a couple times too, right? So it was like a lot of takedown moments and some time with Figgy on top, and then they would come back up, and it was like both guys were having their moments. So Montel's like, don't want to give him his dominant moments on the ground, so a little bit more tentative in the engaging. Yeah, and Montel, though, eventually proves me wrong, and he gets a little takedown of his own, but Figgy is very kicked. It kind of kicks him off and gets right back up. But it was a really exciting fight, and there was just like a lot of moments where Figgy was essentially able to mute Montel's offense. So Montel was never really able to get going, I don't feel like. But both guys kept it scrappy. Like we kept it scrappy. We dimmed the lights a little bit in the third round, but it's cool. So we made it to a 29-28 split decision for Davison Figueiredo. We scraped by, right? But that was an exciting fight. We had again a lot of chaotic movement in there. One point where it was Froggy Figgy. He's got his legs splayed this way. He's flying around. Anyway, Figgy was just a little more alive, I feel like. So I agree. I felt like Figgy was the winner of that fight. Just had a little bit more spirit in there and muting the offense. And he was very emotional to get that win, which is so sweet. I think he seems like a really sweet man. Honestly, he does. Like such a sweet man. So that was pretty cool. He wants to come climb his way up to Marab, and why not? Why not? Okay, let's get this bantamweight division going. Let's get it going. And then we made it to our main event, which, by golly gee, what a fabulous and just magical moment that was. Charles Oliveira versus Mateusz Gamrot. Gamrot coming in short notice and coming out of the gate sprinting. Oh my god. I watched that 3 times because I was so shook. He comes sprinting. He terrifies the security. Like, they didn't know that was the plan. There's one guy who's, like, pulling the cords, and Gamrot just, like, he blows, this guy's like, what the? Like, he sprints full speed. I don't think I've ever seen anybody run that fast to the octagon. That was absolutely insane energy. I had a bad feeling about it because he almost he almost crashed out twice. There were 2 times when he nearly crashed. Right away at the beginning when he nearly crashed to the guy who was carrying the cables and security. I mean, God bless him. And then another time when he's got to make the turn. I'm sorry that I think that is, I can't stop laughing. Like, I just think that is so funny. I had to watch it 3 times because I was like, what did I just see? What did I just see? Gamrot sprints his way to the octagon, and Charles coming in with the reverse energy, just like so chill, so like, yeah, like this is my space, this is my moment. I'm sorry, it was just so crazy. Oh my gosh. Okay, Joanna's here, of course, to support Gamrot and to support Carolina too as well. Wow. So we get this fight started, and round one, the crowd is so alive. It's incredible. We're circling, and these guys are immediately after it. We are in a tricky position right away on the ground. What is going on? Charles has a hold of the arm. Gamrot is trying to escape, and he does. And then we enter a new exchange. Pause. You know how it is. We freeze in the grappling, and then Charles is on his back. He's looking for the choke, and it's looking scary. I'm like, like it looks like it's gonna happen. Maybe. Oh my gosh. We make it though to the end of the round, but it's for sure a round for Charles. It's looking very dominant. He had more, like just like it was mostly his moment on the ground. A couple moments for Gamrot here and there, and he escaped, but that was Charles 101. Round two. Now we're trading. Now we're trading. We're standing and we're looking feisty and we're fierce. And both of these guys are just going for it. I'm like, this is why we love them. This is why we love them because they are so well versed. They are so well versed. This is why we love Charles so much because he is the submission king, but he is willing to go toe to toe. He's so fierce. And halfway through this round, Charles does go for a takedown and he gets it. And the crowd is a little bit sad because they wanted to see the blood and violence continue. So you get this very deafening, very low hummed boo. Ooh, like I'm like, wow, this crowd is awesome. They're just so like invested in it. So even when they're booing, it's somehow like musical. I don't know, it's crazy. And again, Charles looking for the neck though. So no need to boo. He's got something coming. Charles searching for that neck, looking for that rear naked choke, and it's going, oh, 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 and yes, he sinks it in. He commits, sinks it in, and we get the tap. Set him free. That's Gamrot's first ever loss of a finish of any kind. So Gamrot has never been submitted or knocked out going into that fight. So that's his first time getting finished. And what better person to do that, right, than Charles Oliveira, so he gets to maintain his undefeated streak in Brazil. What a special moment, right? I mean, we love Gamrot. We love him. We love him because he's a gamer. We love him because he saved our main event, right? Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. But Charles Oliveira. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That was awesome. We had so many chokes, and we capped it off with a choke. Cap it off with a rear naked choke. Write the check. We did it. That was so sick. What an amazing night. So much fun. So many incredible fights. So many shining stars. Who am I the most happy for? Probably Khan Ofli because he needed to get the win. It was dire. It was dire, and that was classy. That was a classy. That was pretty choky, but so many great moments. Oh my gosh. Figgy, so emotional, so beautiful. And again, shout out to Jose Aldo. Oh my god, it's so sad, but it's bittersweet, right? Because it's a good moment to celebrate him and all his accomplishments. Yay! Team Brazil. Oh, it's backwards. Sometimes I forget to switch that. You know how it is. I have a clip, so I can't put the hat on. Okay. What an amazing night. What was your favorite fight or your favorite moment? There was a lot of really good moments, but I think it's pretty hard not to choose the main event, right? That was so great. It's just storybook, magical, exactly what we needed. Really cool to see Charles win in Rio de Janeiro. Yeah. Here is our song of the night. Yay! And I think that is all that I have. Let me know, anything else, whatever. And peace out.